Hello, everybody. Today is April 23rd, and today we're doing Robot and Nonsense. By the time you guys are watching this, Ryan's tooth will be fixed, which we just talked about off camera.
Let's hope.
Let's hope.
I could also be dead.
The news next week will be Ryan's out because he can't talk.
Or just me like, sure,
Just a mouthful of cotton.
some people would greatly enjoy that based on the comments. So, Tesla.
Again?
They had a good run.
They've been in all 3 episodes this week. What
Well, they're not technically in this headline, but I bet they're concerned about it because another company has been quietly doing some work.
Ford's BlueCruise self-driving tech just did a 110,000-mile road trip, hands-free highway driving coming later in 2021.
Highway is the key word there because they do not go as far as Tesla. You got to say, Tesla, one thing about it, ambition. They've got ambition. But Ford is using the similar, I think the Cadillacs had this, right? Similar to this, where they pick sections of highway, only highway, where they're like, this is a good road. We know everything about it. It's well documented. On this road, you can just take your hands off the wheel because we know this road.
But you need to pay attention just in case you need to brake.
Or, there's a cop on the side of the road, as we've seen so many times.
Yeah.
It won't be like that episode of Knight Rider where David Hasselhoff was asleep at the wheel and had to fake a hearing problem because the popo saw him asleep at the wheel and pulled him over.
Was he in Kit?
Yeah.
Did Kit ever get impounded?
Yeah, a couple of times.
Yeah, that would be an obvious storyline.
Yeah. He let himself out a few times too.
Well, here's an impressive machine. I wish they would build a very tiny version that I could use in my yard. Although I would be afraid about burning my house down because that seems like it could easily be a side effect here.
Isilon, is that how you say that? Founder lifts the hood on farming startup, Carbon Robotics, and its weed zapping machine. It sounds vaguely elvish, don't you think, Krista?
A little bit. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, that's got a little bit of a Tolkien vibe to it.
Isil is the word for moon in Elvish.
Well, I don't know what would be a lunar tie-in here, but this giant brick will drive around your farm, and it uses, vision algorithms to identify the weeds and blast them with some lasers.
Great-great-great-grandmother of the Crushinator from Futurama.
And it works at night, too. So they're saying it can do 100,000 weeds in, was it an hour? It was a crazy number.
Yeah.
But it will also be very expensive, and I don't think they're for sale yet. But that's a cool thing.
It is cool.
Although, could there be a flipped bit? Could we get one of those collisions, those transistor collisions, and all of a sudden all the corn's dead? How much corn could this thing kill left unmonitored?
Crushinator is good at crushinating the weeds.
Or, better yet, Israel gets into it. And all of a sudden it's on the streets of Tehran shooting people in the eye with lasers. Could be bad. But robots are here to stay. We're going to have to either get used to them or go to war with them. I don't see any other way to do it. And the Korean leaders have a clear choice.
The Koreans are telling the South Korean workers need to get used to their shoulder-to-shoulder robot brethren helper things. I can't see the headline because Bloomberg.
Now they're saying that robots aren't going to replace you. Stop worrying about that.
But you need to work with those robots.
But you got to work with them. And when the time comes, you need to transition to a new job as they take over your job.
Wow. You're training your own replacement and it's not even sentient. What an insult.
And it doesn't respect your personal space.
Definitely doesn't.
It's just crowding you all the time.
It's like it's like the Patrick Swayze ghost thing when they're like doing the sculpture, except the robot's got its hands on your hands as you're picking packages.
You're at home. Finally, you get home to your wife, and it's like, oh God, it was all day in the factory, and then the robot's just moving your hands on her. Like, no, robot. This is my bedroom.
This is how I learned to love.
You see those? Remember the gripper bot from Amazon? Yeah. It's like it's got its suction cups arms just running them down her head.
Oh
no! We need to get H.R. Geiger involved in this. We could maybe get a script out of it.
Put a bunch of, like the scales and the tendons and stuff all over the Amazon robots. That'd be cool.
And suddenly it's become Japanese.
Well, this story we talked about before, and I remember thinking, you don't get a better example than this. This is the perfect example of why we shouldn't be doing these things. And I think he is very smart to do this. Yes. I think he will win, and he should.
Detroit man sues police for wrongfully arresting him based on facial recognition. This is the one that we reported on like a year ago. My guess is the settlement talks have not gone well, and the Detroit taxpayers will be paying this man for the foreseeable future, I am sure.
I don't remember the exact details of that story, but I remember they did some really suspicious stuff.
Yeah.
Just to get to the point to make him a suspect.
Yeah.
The department produced a photo lineup that included the man's picture, showed it to a security guard who hadn't actually witnessed the shoplifting incident, and then got the warrant.
Yeah. And the AI at that point was even worse than it is now. So if you showed it, and I think the picture they used was like really dark as well.
Yeah.
So it accentuated the dark skin color not working with the AI. So it basically said, hey, do you think this blurry dark blob looks kind of like this blurry dark blob? And they was like, well, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Well, that's the guy.
Not like we're just playing with someone's life here. Sure, it looks like him.
What's really funny too is when that story first broke, like the prosecutor and everybody else was doubling down. They were like, "I don't know." It's like, but he's got an airtight alibi. It's like, we're investigating that.
Because admitting you're wrong is not something people in power do. That's one of the biggest problems we have. And when it comes to facial recognition, after we look at how poor it can be, this headline should be a little bit alarming, because in some cases, when we're talking about institutional AI facial recognition, we're accepting that maybe it's not always a good idea. But when it comes to your individual facial recognition, it's all steam ahead.
Billions of smartphone owners will soon be authorizing payments using facial recognition. Cautionary tale, but your face authorizes this transaction, sir. I don't think we should give you a refund.
How hard would it be? Here's a great Instagram idea. If you're, because these people on Instagram are really good at makeup, choose a celebrity that you kind of look like and see if you could make up yourself onto their facial recognition.
And then can you steal their credit card? No.
Well, you won't want to go that far.
Well, Office Max, remember Office Max way back a long time ago? I used to use my debit card for Office Max, and they had that breach. And everybody's credit card numbers and their PIN numbers were stolen. How did they configure their point of sale system to save your PIN number?
I thought that was illegal.
Yeah, you'd think. So I had some fraudulent transactions, and the bank was like, well, your PIN number was used. And so in those kind of transactions, they don't have to give you a refund. And they didn't until like 6 months later when the investigation, and I had to bring them newspaper clippings and was like, look, I'm one of the first people that money was stolen from.
That's why you never use debit card.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Since then, I haven't.
Krista, are you running everything through credit now, or are you still using a debit card?
No, I run everything through credit now.
Yeah.
But for a long time, I did not have a credit card.
Because the credit company will refund you in most cases, or they will do the legwork of fighting it.
Yeah.
Versus the bank, which...
Oh, you used your PIN number. Oh, you used your face. I mean, come on. That face recognition is flawless. You could literally just hold up, It's like, are you holding up Ted Danson to the thing? It's like, yeah.
Our facial recognition could never be defeated as they're dragging a random black guy out of the lobby.
Yeah.
And here's something exciting, although it's going to be a long time before we see it. Although with time compression...
Maybe not.
Everything comes sooner nowadays because life is meaningless. And I am excited to see this little guy, although, again, in our area...
No.
I don't think so.
Intel's Mobileye will launch a fully driverless delivery service in 2023. This looks to me like it would be like the regional Walmart getting deliveries to the local Walmarts.
Well, I don't know. It says, hello, Vicky. Who is Vicky? I think Vicky is the recipient, right?
Yeah.
Unless you can just maybe pay to get your string on there. What were you saying?
It says those cities, they're starting Oklahoma City, and then they just put Arizona, which is not a city, and then Bay Area and California. Because of course California gets everything first.
Well, that's
but why
all
Oklahoma City?
because it's flat.
Yeah.
And it's probably a perfect grid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mountains are just
That's rough.
They're the robots are allergic to mountains, turns out. Maybe that'll be good for us in the coming robot war. We can hole up in the mountains, in the old mines. Huawei, we talked about Huawei getting into the EV business, and now we know a little bit more about it, including how far they are willing to go with this investment.
Huawei to invest $1 billion in car technology that it says is better than what Tesla has, which, you know, it's not really a super high bar to climb, especially when we keep getting reports about the beta full self-driving. It's like, oh, don't worry, that full self-driving button's coming. I'd be surprised if it's not here by June. It's not going to be here by June.
But the last time they promised that, it did come, except it wasn't self-driving.
And it was garbage.
Yeah. The thing about this story that I thought was interesting, and the previous story as well. So like in the previous story, Intel Mobileye is the technology, but Intel's not building the truck. And this is the same thing. Huawei is doing the technology, but they're going to partner with other car companies. So are we going to get to a point where it's kind of like video games and movies, where there have to be 20 different emblems on the back of your car? Or when you start it up, the splash screen has to show you 10 different intros?
Yeah, that was certainly GM's strategy with the scattergun approach to all of the electric vehicle companies it was buying. It's like, one of these is going to pan out.
But these guys, you know, I mean, they're going to want their name on it, right?
You'd think.
Are we going to have Intel inside on cars?
Probably already do. Nvidia certainly is going to want their logo on stuff.
Oh my God. If it comes down to it, are you going to choose an AMD card over an Nvidia card
Ooh,
just because of the logo?
it's a long pause.
What a dark future.
And he didn't say no. I was really excited about this because I thought when they said wireless, I thought they meant like no wires into the brain.
No, that's not correct.
But that's not what it is.
A wireless brain-computer interface has been successfully tested on humans for the first time. Definitely don't stand near lightning strikes, because now there's a nice, quick, easy way to get that electromagnetic field inside your brain.
So these guys, they strapped them up to it. Now, this is not all that exciting in terms of what it can do, because we've had the wired version for a long time. But with no motor ability at all, you can type and use a mouse pointer. Now, if you're trapped in your own body,
that seems like a great thing.
Man, how much would you pay for that?
Remember the story we did last year? I wonder how that guy's doing. He had the electrodes implanted, but he had to have it done in South America because nobody would do it. And the surgery didn't really go that well, and he lost his speech. Is he okay?
That's a terrible story.
Hope he's doing okay.
But I'm sure they will miniaturize that, and eventually it will be small enough where you can just probably, you know, it wouldn't be all that noticeable.
You know how they do this the low invasion surgery where like they cut open your leg and pilot the robot up through, you know, one of the really large blood vessels
for heart surgery.
Yeah, I bet that's how they end up doing the brain is they shrink it to like a microscopic version of that kind of filament and just use that filament to pilot it around the structures in your brain to make it minimally invasive.
But you need the base station, I think. But I think they could, if they made it long and thin, they could just shave down part of your skull, right?
Yeah.
Like make a little trench for it.
Yeah.
Pop that in there.
Yeah. I mean, we already do that. I mean, cochlear implants are not really, you know, you could just route it. It's not a huge deal.
Brain surgery, not a huge deal.
Well, if you had like the little pilotable tendril things, like there was a little fiber optic cable so you could see.
But you have to connect that to the outside somehow.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a little pack behind your ear, it would be fine.
Maybe it could come out of your ear. Some wires coming out of your ear. Well, bias. AI bias. I don't think we're going to get away from it.
No.
How long do you think let's say that we took all of the Biden money and all of the brain trust of the world and focused it on fixing AI bias. We still couldn't fix it.
There's not a problem with AI bias. It is like this whole article. I can get rid of it in a blink. The Intercept. The headline is research says Facebook's ad algorithm perpetuates gender bias. Okay, Unilever. They make everything, literally everything.
Well, they make the half of everything that Procter & Gamble doesn't make.
Unilever wants to smell good smelling soap. I like good smelling soap. but their algorithm is going to we want female people to sell advertising for our new floral scented soap. The algorithm is always going to be biased because that data is ultimately making its way into an algorithm. People are spending money and saying, I'm willing to pay for an ad if it goes to someone who is female.
But the reason they're claiming this is because they said, Facebook, here are two fake companies. Company A and Company B are identical. The only things that are different between them is that Company A is majority male and Company B is majority female. Please find me job applicants. And somehow the Facebook AI overwhelmingly sent women to the women company and men to the men company.
Yes.
So
because it's based on people like fulfilling and completing and doing the thing.
But wouldn't it probably be more productive? I mean, for years we ran all business like that. There was no mixing of. And in the Middle East, you still don't do that.
No, I'm saying that like the algorithm is trained based on human behavior. And so, of course, it's going to do that. The same way that I'm not going to get, floral scented soap ads.
But when you break it down and you remove the mores of society from it, is the algorithm still not doing what's best?
I don't know about what's best, but it's doing what we've always done, which is not the best.
Not best for people, best for productivity. And like getting a job placement that sticks.
Yes, it absolutely is.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's doing the best that it can with the flawed humans that it has to deal with.
Yeah.
It's like an algorithm that's like, okay, your fetish is you have to murder someone every now and again. Well, here's a homeless person. They probably won't be missed. Thanks, algorithm. I mean, it's a dark place when you go that far with the algorithm.
Also, there is an algorithm that every once in a while, just randomly, it assigns that trait to people. It's human evolution. That happens.
The algorithm has decided you're insanely productive and it's going to give you all this stuff, but it knows that every now and then you have to murder somebody, kind of like Dexter. And it's like, oh, we found this hardened criminal. You can sort of extrajudicially kill him to satisfy your needs, but then you need to go back to work on Monday. All right, sounds good. Thanks, algorithm.
I personally really enjoy the fact that everything in Japan has a little anime mascot. They're adorable, and I wish that American companies would adopt this. I don't think they ever will.
No.
But sometimes they take that too far. Like literally everything doesn't need an anime mascot, especially things that are controversial and really serious.
Japan scraps mascot promoting Fukushima wastewater dump. Oh, little Mr. Tritium.
Is he supposed to be a tadpole? I mean, I guess he's an element of tritium, right? An atom of, I don't know. Krista, what do you think about the design?
Not great. It doesn't really I think he's supposed to be in water in that banner image, but instead of drawing waves coming up around his little flippers, they just put an opacity layer there and it doesn't properly communicate the depth of field. It's a weird image.
So they want to dump all that Fukushima water into the sea. People are obviously...
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, what's wrong with that? Let's screw the ocean.
The biggest objectors are countries who would probably get those... what do you call the water moving under the water? Currents. Those currents would carry the radioactive water to their shores. They're very upset about it, but they insist that it's fine. And if you need any evidence that it's fine, just look how adorable this thing is. How could that hurt you? It's got rosy cheeks.
It's definitely not going to mutate.
That's Godzilla.
I mean, what I love about this too is he's got this mouth. They didn't even make him smiling. He just looks like he's screaming silently.
Because of his high levels of radiation.
Yeah. It doesn't really inspire confidence.
Isn't in the Godzilla movies that usually what wakes up Godzilla so that he comes to destroy civilization? Because it's like, what have they put in the water now?
Yeah, it's always... Although, you know what they did is they switched in Kong versus Godzilla. It wasn't the nuclear war anymore because that's been so long ago. It was just straight pollution. He just ate some radioactive waste. Also, when he shows up for the first time, he's still evolving, and he has these big, dumb, googly eyes, and it's the most hilarious thing. Like, why did they give him the big googly eyes? I kind of love it though.
Makes him cuter.
He's adorable with his fire-breathing ice breath.
They couldn't do that yet. They were still becoming.
There's a lot of spoilers here if you're like really into Godzilla lore.
Well, if you should have already seen it, how dare you? And here in good old Kentucky, we've had a lot of water this year.
We have.
Too much, in fact. Too much.
Ice dams.
Did you get your new roof?
No, not for a couple of weeks. I still got to finish painting too. I can do that right after this.
But you are getting a new roof because too much water.
Yeah.
We've just got too much of it. We should ship some down to Vegas.
Water-worried Vegas wants a useless grass to be a thing of the past. You just need to spray paint your concrete green. It's all good.
They're saying you need
Or plant native plants that can survive in that climate.
cacti and shrubs and desert life plants.
Grass was never meant to be there. Just put shrubs in.
Not very exciting.
And rock gardens.
And times are hard, and some people, they're forced into it. I'm not excusing it, but when things get like this, you turn to crime. And one crime that you might turn to is smuggling. And you might say to yourself, you know what? I'll carry a couple of bricks of heroin over the border. Maybe I'll swallow some balloons. But there might be an even more lucrative thing to smuggle these days. 300
Nvidia GPUs seized after a high-speed boat chase. So this is going from Hong Kong to China, probably going to a cryptocurrency mining operation, but now you have to register for that kind of thing in China. The authorities were tipped off somehow, and these were seized. So somebody lost many millions of dollars worth of cryptocurrency miners.
That's kind of hilarious. And what a weird reality we're living in, that this is a thing people are smuggling.
Yeah. It's amazing. Often we'll get these science headlines and I read them and I say to myself, that can't be good. That's not going to end well. This is definitely one of those times.
Yeah. Studies that make brain-like structures or add human cells to animal brains are ethical. For now, panel says. So we're going to end up making Pan from Pan's Labyrinth and be like, yeah, congratulations.
Krista, what if, Rue is running out. Her time is done, and you can tell she's getting old. And they come to you and they say, hey, Krista, you know what? We can do another Rue, but we'll put a little bit of human brain in her.
No.
No?
No. Rue's charm is that she's so dumb.
That is true.
That's what makes her so fun to hang out with. And if we're playing puppy tag and I'm hiding around a corner and she already knows I'm going to be there, is that even any fun?
That's a good point. What if you could do a version of Rue that was a little bit dumber?
Then it would be like, then she's peeing in the house, and that's not fun. I dealt with that when she was a puppy.
She'd basically be a stuffed animal at that point.
Yeah.
A stuffed animal that pees and poops.
Constantly.
I mean, it's amazing to me that Rue doesn't understand corners. That corners are fascinating to her.
Yeah, like, I'll run around a corner, and then, like, sometimes I'll hide behind the curtain, or I'll hide, like, behind another corner. And she'll come around the corner, and she's like, where'd she go? But there's only, like, 3 or 4 places I can hide in any room, but she gets confused.
This headline is the thing. The way I like to think about these stories is how crazy is it that we live in our society right now where everything's becoming woke, and the canyon of difference between that and this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing that we are sharing the same planet, and yet we have such different ideas. And not only are we sharing the same planet, but we're competing and sporting against one another. And it leads to things like this.
Iran censors a soccer match over 100 times due to woman referee.
And let's take a look at this ribald slut. Oh, what? Oh, yeah,
There's a picture of it in Twitter, yeah.
You won't believe what this filthy girl is wearing. Oh, my God.
Shorts that are slightly, not even very far up above her knee.
This is one way that the internet is kind of a great equalizer, because we can all look at this and laugh, but also at the same time, it's like, does anybody, like, is this just posturing? Like, why would they do this?
So anytime she was on the screen, they would cut to another, I guess they would cut to the crowd or something, but they would not show you action on the field if a camera was pointing at that girl. You think she's going to become internet famous?
Probably.
That's a weird thing.
Do you think next time they'll force her to wear pants, even though it's probably like 100 degrees?
Why are you applying for asylum? Oh, because I want to be a soccer referee. Okay.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just the pants. They also insisted that she cover her hair. And that could really interfere with your job there, don't you think?
Yeah.
Because you got to see. You got to have peripheral vision if you're a referee. It's weird. And this one, I read this and I just felt bad for the world.
Yeah.
Because this is really, really ridiculous, and this is really authoritarian. This is something that I could see this happening during the police encounter, but getting overturned later. But no, they just doubled down with it.
Tyrannical court asserts that farting does not count as free speech. And I can't help but notice that the author has a South Park-looking caricature because pretty sure Trey Parker and Matt Stone would disagree with you that farting is actually free speech.
William Hughes holding out. I'm not putting. I stand with him. No Avatar pictures. But here they did point out in the story that this country is a member of the EU. I don't even remember what country it was. Do you? It was like
Austria.
Austria, yeah. The EU free speech rules contradict what they did here.
Yes.
So will this go to an EU court?
We'll probably get some hilarious ruling like making farting noises is free speech, but actually farting is not free speech.
But this guy was having a disagreement with a cop and just farted.
Yeah,
And the cop-
I don't understand.
Yeah, the cop was like, "That's disrespectful. You're going to jail." Did they pass that federal law where you're not allowed to disrespect cops, or was that a state?
That was state, and that did pass.
That is because, listen, I am not capable mentally.
It's because they murdered that poor guy that owned the barbecue in Louisville.
I cannot. I am in no. There's no universe that I can respect cops. I can't do it. So I'm immediately, I'm breaking the law just by existing.
Will you be considered sarcastic if you try?
I don't know. I'd be lying to them. You're not allowed to do that either, right? This is we did go. We got a couple of months there without one of these stories.
Yeah.
But you can't get away from them entirely. You're eventually going to get another one.
Liberal MP caught stark naked during House of Commons video conference. He had just gone for a jog, and he, wanted to take a quick shower and change, but, he was still listening to what was going on at the meeting. His camera was on.
How do you make that mistake? They say
How are you not paranoid about your camera at all times, like I am?
Now, here's the thing about it. They said that in the shot, you could see everything except for his genitalia because he was covering it with his phone. What kind of angle? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Australia, the stereotype, the joke that we constantly make and that everybody constantly makes is how deadly all of their animals are and how they're all just looking to kill you and hiding in the most unsuspecting places because they hate humanity and you shouldn't live there.
Yeah, venomous snake discovered chilling out in an Aldi lettuce bag purchased in Australia. Because that's just, it's like, oh, hey.
That's just how it works there.
Now, here's the thing about it. And I realize that the bags of lettuce that I purchase were pulled from a larger pool of lettuce that was probably teeming with snakes. But this guy ate the lettuce after he found the snake. Would you eat the lettuce after you found it? Krista?
There's no chance.
I don't think I would.
I mean, there's no reason not to. Except the fact that you're just like, oh, there was a snake in that.
I mean, can you really wash it to a sufficient degree?
Remember for a while there.
Defecating in there for how long? Like
it was like 8 or 10 years ago. They came out with that detergent for vegetables. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And that did not catch on.
No.
Yeah, who pays for that?
No one, it turns out.
Well, they still put that on like apples. So apples come with a coating that you're not supposed to eat. You're supposed to wash it off.
But I think that's more for the presentation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not the...
presentation and maybe preservation.
That's what that stuff was supposed to interact with, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
And wash away. Yeah, it'll make you stronger.
Grow your own.
Premature kidney
lettuce.
failure. Woo.
Grow your own apples. That takes a while.
But lettuce is super easy.
Well, Krista, what about mushrooms? You are the resident mushroom expert. And I think maybe if you get more into mushroom research, you can save the world like these people are doing.
I don't know if I have qualifications for this, but could plastic eating mushrooms solve mankind's plastic problem? They're also making leathers out of mushrooms. So they're not animal based, which is kind of interesting.
That's interesting. Mushroom leather. Do you still have to go through the tanning process and everything with mushroom leather?
I think so. It's very like, I keep hearing about some brands that are using it, but it's still very like kind of obscure. I don't think it's a widespread process yet.
So these are just some random mushrooms that they've found in weird places. Sometimes in places where there's so much plastic that it seems like evolution just stepped in. And one of them was in the Amazon. I don't know how that one got into plastic eating. I guess there's plastic in the Amazon. But the thing about it is they do a very good job of converting plastic into something else that degrades. The problem is speed.
Yeah.
Not very fast.
I wish I could. I read a paper a long time ago about how part of the reason that the Amazon's nitrogen cycle is so jacked up is because there may be so much old pottery in the soil that's decaying from some sort of mega civilization that was around the Amazon river. That's why the Amazon rainforest is so insane.
I think some of it has to do with the burning.
Yeah. Well.
Also, these guys should have known before they ever started that this would be a very slow process because Toad is the slowest Mario Kart character.
I always liked playing Toad. Everyone was like, oh, he's garbage, but I think I could control his character better.
Everybody's going to be
As
like,
a
it's
child.
Bowser.
Yeah.
I don't even know who to... I don't actually know. I just went with the joke, people. Some of you need to understand that not everything is literal.
But tell us your favorite Mario Kart character below.
Tell us the
Mine was
slowest
actually
one.
Toad.
The NFT craze, could this be the peak?
Yes.
Could we be looking at
This is peak insanity.
the tipping point?
Yeah.
Because where could we go from here?
Nowhere.
Give me one thing that makes less sense than this.
It's hard.
Can we start like daisy chaining NFTs? Like an NFT for an NFT for another thing? Can we do that? Because this is just, it's astonishing.
Single pixel of digital-only art sold for more than $1.7 million at Sotheby's. Is that how you say that? They're famous art auctions.
Sotheby's, I
Sotheby's.
think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good on the artist, because I feel like the artist was probably completely self-aware about what was happening. But
Oh,
some
he did
idiot
it.
bought it anyway.
He did a whole NFT suite of stuff. He sold a ton of crap that day. This was just one of them. And my God, he's also got this cube.
He knew what he was doing.
I don't understand any of it. Yeah, I think the artists definitely know what they're doing.
The idiot who bought it maybe didn't realize what they were getting. But
I also like. It's one thing to give them a single pixel, but to choose the most boring single pixel color.
Oh, no, that's going up in somebody's home art right now. Like in their art gallery, it's going to be that, and it's going to be like this.
But what? I mean, you have to blow it up, right? But
No.
then you're turning your one pixel into more pixels.
The pixel is
maybe
does
it's an
not.
SVG.
Yeah, it doesn't conform to our Euclidean
vector.
space. It can be as large or as small as you want.
But once you print that onto paper, now it's no longer a pixel. Now it's a dot, right? Or-
Well, no, I mean it could be huge.
But you're converting it. You'd have to
Yeah.
have a 1x1 monitor to display this. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the way it should be displayed.
Yeah, that's true.
But we're arguing about something that literally doesn't even exist. It's not even real. So
Does it get its own Pantone color? I mean, I would think for 1.7 million, it would get its own Pantone color.
I think it's a known color. Krista, was that a truck? Did we hear another truck?
Yeah, a truck just went by. I think that looks like the hex code, like just 6666666, like
Oh, it's the devil.
just gray.
That's delightful.
Oops.
There was a creepy eye there. That's your
Whoa.
webcam. Will make video calls uncomfortable.
I didn't click it, but did you see they have a do-it-yourself version of this?
No.
But I don't like. How do you get the
Oh.
creepy parts?
Probably like 3D print it, and then the rest is silicone, right?
Ugh. So this is, I guess, this is more of an art project. It does make you think about that thing that's always looking at you.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
you can, it's easy to ignore. I mean, Jesus, we're staring at a ton of it,
Wow.
and it's easy to get used to it. But it would be much harder to get used to this.
The creepy eye-shaped webcam will make video calls uncomfortable. They were already uncomfortable.
Yeah, as if they weren't already.
Look how the expression of that eye looks like it knows something.
Yeah, it knows you're not working.
Oh, there's video of him like stroking it, and it's like closing its little eye. I don't like it. Just a hunk of flesh with an eyeball in it.
Oh, it is so disturbing.
Please no.
My God, I don't want that.
We should get one.
I don't know if they're for sale yet. But they did a good job of making it human and making the movements.
If I'd known that this was going to get 1 million hits, I would have done this years ago. Put one of these on top of Dot. It'd be amazing.
Imagine when things are back to normal and we have clients come over. Oh, I think my camera froze. We have clients come over to the office and then like, oh, hang on, let's teleconference in, and then they just see that eyeball at the top. Oh.
I don't think we can fix this on our end, can we?
No.
Let me connect and reconnect.
That was a great freeze frame, though. Maybe. Oh, that was us.
Is it back?
There
Yeah.
You're going to have to maybe try a different USB port or something.
I literally plugged and replugged it right before we started, so.
You know what? Maybe we'll get you one of these cameras.
Oh, yeah, and I can look at that the whole time. Ugh.
And our final story, I was torn between which one of those to make the final story. But I had to go with this one because this image is so fantastic. Because I'm pretty sure that is a woman's reproductive.
Let's not say thing.
And it's made of flowers.
Yeah.
That's a lot. What's the dollar value of those flowers?
Oh, it's several $1,000s at least.
Really?
Somebody put a lot of work into this.
It's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
So Mother's Day is coming up. That's a social warning.
Yeah, May 8th.
Prepare yourself for that. Obtain flowers and or a gift. And but if you don't have any ideas, if you're like, I don't know what to get my mom, I need some suggestions. Miss Gwyneth Paltrow has so many wonderful suggestions for you.
No, she doesn't. Need a Mother's Day gift? Why not? Well, no, we're not going to talk about that. Or a yacht trip, says Goop, and then there's the picture. This is, it's the Goop Lab. Yeah, we all know what that is.
Well, let's talk about some of these hits. Oh, are we getting paywall?
We got paywall.
I didn't. So $600 bidet is listed on here. Let me scroll
It better
down.
be a pressure washer for that kind of money.
Present suggestions also include a fedora hat embroidered with the exact astrological positions of the moon, stars, and planets when your child was born for
nice.
$2,500.
Those are
A brand identity and design service for $700.
Because every mother needs that.
A luxury yacht ship to Croatia for $105,000. $100,000.
Do you get to keep the yacht?
Why Croatia?
Is that just a trip, or do you get to keep the boat?
I think it's just a trip.
No, I think that's just the trip.
And you forgot the vibrator necklace, Krista.
Yeah.
Because
they mentioned this in the article. I watched this video. So on Vogue, she did a video of like her skincare routine, which was absurd. But my favorite part was when she applied her sunscreen and she just dabbed it on her cheeks, and I was like, oh, so that's why you have sun damage, because you're applying it like a highlighter.
Does she have sun damage?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can tell.
But I gotta say,
you gotta wear sunscreen every day, chat.
I don't know how old a gal she is. I know that she's probably older than us, right?
Yeah.
She's like your guys' age. I think she's like 45.
She does look pretty amazing. Krista, we are not 45.
You're not?
No.
Wow.
How old am I?
Insensitive. I'm not upset. I'm not upset that you don't know my age, Krista. I'm upset that you're adding years to me.
Look, you made me do the tux.
She
Store.level1text.com.
In the video you can tell though, like she's kind of starting like around her chest area where she's not applying sunscreen. You can tell there's some damage there. Gotta wear it. Gotta get that skincare in, chat.
Shade being thrown, chat. Krista
people were saying it was not particularly a good skincare routine when you're telling people don't wear sunscreen because you're preventing skin cancer. Like,
Krista is throwing down right now. She's saying she's got better skin than Gwyneth Paltrow.
Well, I mean, that's not really a fair comparison. I am quite a bit
right.
younger than
you
her.
got 15 years on her. But actually probably more than that. But I'm saying most girls that age don't look like that. She's doing something right. I don't know if it's those candles or what, but it's working.
Or maybe the expensive, $100,000 yacht trip she's taken.
I gotta get on Ray Kurzweil's vitamins or whatever the heck that is. I feel like that's more attainable.
When did he start doing that? How old was he when he started doing that?
He was like 40, 45.
So we could still.
Yeah.
I don't think we'd afford it.
Well, yeah, probably not. Depends on what it is.
My husband
remember-
bought some just regular vitamins the other day, and he was like, "Why are they so expensive?"
In that documentary, he was taking 100 capsules every morning. Wow. And that has got to be a daily cost that is just astronomical.
Probably peeing most of that out too.
I would think, yeah.
He's got this whole plan, Krista. It's fascinating if you want to read about it. And I haven't looked at a picture of him recently.
It was definitely working like 5 years ago.
Something was working, yeah. He should start a Goop.
But the issue is when you like blast yourself with that many products, it's hard to isolate which one is the most effective.
Yeah, well, he's just scorched earth.
Yeah.
Although, imagine if he stopped. Imagine if the supply chain really broke. Would his body be able to make any of that anymore?
It was like in the Indiana Jones movie when the guy picked the wrong grail and aged.
He's
Just melts.
5 hours after he misses his vitamins, starts to melt. I take zinc and magnesium every night to help me sleep. And when I don't, my body's just like, I guess we'll stay up. I'm not making that anymore.
I tried taking melatonin, and it did nothing for me.
Yeah, I didn't get
Absolutely nothing.
zinc and magnesium, Krista. Try that.
Maybe.
I've switched to a multivitamin that has zinc, and it does make a big difference.
Well, that's it for this.
Yeah, that was it, chat. Mother's Day warning, you got like 2 weeks.
Krista, say goodbye as if you were on your way to take your yacht to Croatia.
Bye! I was just happy.